Good evening. Welcome back to the Sheila Exchange. It's another Friday at 5:30 p.m. And as usual, we are back again with another guest this week. And his name is Bruce Wong. Now, Bruce is a very, very interesting story to tell. I'm not going to tell his story. I'm going to let him tell you himself. But just to give you a brief teaser, Bruce comes from a corporate background. He's also had some F&B experience by being involved in the setting up of restaurants. And what happened was when the pandemic hit, he found himself out of a job. And so, with a pregnant wife and children to feed, he had to make money. And that's how Bruce pivoted into starting his own catering business from his kitchen. So I'm going to let him tell you this very interesting story, which is a great example of how in the face of adversity, there is still opportunity if you have a positive spirit and you're gung-ho about going out and doing something new and trying new things. And apparently, I have it from on the advice of one of Human Equations associates, Regina Fu. She's a strong advocate of food, Bruce's food, and she's like, you ordered or not? You ordered not? Because Regina is every week ordering food from Bruce. So Bruce coming from Regina, she's Penang Mari. Okay, she comes from Penang. Oh, very fussy about their. Very sharp tongue, very fussy about their food. So if Regina is going goo gaga about your food, that means it must be absolutely good. So Bruce, welcome to the Sheila Exchange. Thank you for agreeing to be with us today. Now, I just like you to tell our audience about your background, like what were you involved in before you started Wongka, which is your food brand that you just started, where you work, what sort of experience you've had.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Sheila, for having me on your show. A little bit about myself. I started off in advertising, doing advertising, marketing, and events. That was my first job. Then after that, me and a couple of friends, we started to go into F&B business, and we actually built a pretty successful one. We had a few bars, few restaurants. Then after 7 years of doing that, an opportunity came for me to set up a co-working space in Thailand, in Bangkok. So I packed my stuff and I left for Bangkok for almost 2 years, setting up the place. It was a new co-working space in Bangkok. And then after that, I came back to KL to start the same co-working space back here. And then this whole COVID thing happened. So I was a country director for Malaysia and Thailand at the time. And when COVID came along, business was really bad for the company. And actually, my salary was a burden for the company. Like they couldn't afford me anymore. And so I said, okay, I had to do something. I had to start something to feed my guys. I cannot just go on without a salary and stuff like that. I had a pregnant wife. She just delivered a month ago. So there wasn't much time for me to think about, where am I going to find a job right now and what am I going to do? So one thing that I realized that makes me happy was making food for my kids. And my kids gave me a lot of encouragement. They said that food's good, you should try we should try selling it. So yeah, coming from my 9-year-old kid, so I said, yeah, okay.
Wow.
And then my wife is Taiwanese, and she does a very good Taiwanese braised pork from her mom's recipe, that kind of thing. So we thought, okay, let's just start this. So within 3 to 4 days, I guess, 3 to 4 days after I realized that losing my job and stuff, we started selling. We tried to sell some of the food that we cooked. I'm not a good cook. I actually have not cooked in my entire life. The only meal that I could cook to save my life was this Thai meal called pakapao, which is Thai basil pork, and I do a very very good rendition. I mean that one is a key seller for my side, and it's really good. So I sold that one. We started off selling that one and Taiwanese braised pork. So when we first started, there was only 2 items on the menu, and I'm pretty blessed that I've got a lot of good friends. A lot of friends supported me. We started selling 20, 30, 40 packs a day of that kind of thing. Then I realized we had to increase the menu. People will get bored of eating the same thing every day. And so right now we are Wongka, we've come up to almost 13 different items on our menu. So that's how it started. Basically,
that's amazing. I mean, I like the fact it's so encouraging, right? You come to a crossroad, or in this case, kind of like a dead end, and then you don't know what to do. And here I'm hearing you say this, Bruce. You didn't know how to cook a lot of things except that, 1 or 2 specialty dishes. You heard your 9-year-old came and told you, Dad, why don't we sell? I mean, I think that's amazing coming from a 9-year-old telling you, Dad, why don't you try this? And then you started small with just 2 things. So I think the message that I'm getting from this personally is that when you want to start something, when you come to a dead end like that, do something. Number 1 is just do something.
Yeah, you have to do something. You have to move. I guess when you sit back and complain about things not happening for you, that's when you're slipping down the slippery slope of depression.
Yeah, it's true.
Act upon it. It's nobody's fault. It's only your fault if you sit down and do nothing. And most important for anyone in life is to have a chance. You have a chance to fight. You have to fight. You will not know how strong you are until you get into a fight. So, I mean, for me is I was at a crossroad where if I don't work, nobody eats, everybody dies.
Yeah.
So for me to start looking for a job is kind of impossible already, because it's at this junction, nobody's going to pay you the salary you've been getting, and nobody's going to hire someone in the high position, come in and do stuff. So this is something that I had to put all my heart and stuff into it.
And that's amazing, Bruce, that you didn't just sit there and cry and on your heap and say, oh, what do I do? Kids need to be fed, pregnant wife, another one on the way, and you just did what you needed to do. But again, the message is don't complain, start somewhere. And also sometimes you get advice from the most unexpected sources, like a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So just be open. So again, it's about being open to new ideas. And start small. Even if you got 2 things on the menu, 2 items, 2 products, just start there first. And then slowly, as you build up your network, it takes on a life of its own.
That's right. That's exactly our story here at Wongka. I think I'm actually very proud of this baby that we've created, because it was really from almost nothing, just cooking home cooked meals for my kids who really enjoy eating the pakapao, and then my wife doing this, and then now I'm pulling my families in, like my sister-in-law and my brother, like, hey guys, you guys got to come in and let's develop the menu and stuff. It's becoming a very fun thing to do right now.
Yeah. I think that's important too, that whatever you're going to be doing, even if it's in a time of crisis, adversity, where you need to do it, you still need to be passionate about it, and you need to have fun. If it's going to be a chore and very painful, now that then again, like, can make you a bit depressed, right?
Correct.
Now, talking about Wongka, why Wongka? Very interesting. It reminded me of Charlie and the chocolate factory.
Willy Wonka, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah.
The Wongka in Cantonese actually means the Wong family. Wong ka, the word ka is actually family, so it's Wong family. So
interesting.
A lot of our meals are, some of my meals like the vegetarian that I make on the 1st and the 15th day of the Chinese lunar calendar. That recipe is handed down from my grandma. She's 101 years old.
Wow. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of the recipes that we have, the ideas of food that we can get is basically from talking to family members. So that's why Wongka came about.
Interesting. Now it makes sense. And then, it started with just you and your immediate family, and then it sort of has spread out to the extended family now.
Correct.
Kind of like you seem to have started a bit of like a social enterprise here, because they're kind of all involved, right?
Yeah. Try to get, because I think the key to Wongka is home cooked. So we're not moving into any. There were people asking me whether we're going to move into a shop lot and start open restaurants, and no, I think the specialty here is home cooked food. People like it because everybody eats the same food that my kids eat. And for if you cook for your own kids, you will not compromise on quality and cleanliness and stuff. So at this moment, no plans to move into like an industrial lot. Everything's still done at home. Yes, production is limited at the moment. Small house, and kids running around, that kind of thing. But I guess it's nice. I think that at this moment,
it adds to the charm. I mean, I think there's a story in there. Like, it's out of Bruce's own kitchen, and his kids are eating what you're eating today. So I mean, yeah, you're right. It's wholesome food. So how many meals do you just do? Lunch, or do you do lunch and dinner?
Okay, before my wife delivered, we were exploring doing dinners, and it was going pretty well. After she delivered, because I took on the role as confinement man also. Yeah, so I was doing the herbs, boiling the herbs, cooking and stuff like that. So I kind of stopped the dinner. I couldn't handle so many. It was really overload already. Now that my wife's confinement is over, we might slowly start back the dinner role, the dinner options.
So the lunch and dinner is the same menu for that.
Usually it's the same menu.
Right. So you offer lunch and you offer dinner. So it's kind of like set la Monday, like something, Tuesday another thing, Wednesday another thing, like that.
Correct. But I try to change it every week.
Yeah, that's great. And how many sort of meals do you actually make in a day, lunch and dinner included?
To sell?
Yes.
To sell, actually one. I only do one. Let's say if Monday is Taiwanese braised pork, so the menu is just only Taiwanese braised pork.
And how many people? What's the capacity per day, like that?
Okay, now that my wife is out of confinement, maybe we can push a little bit more. we can push about 80 packs.
Wow.
80 packs, yeah. But during the last month, I think I kept it at 50 packs. Because there's only so much you can do. And but now slowly, because I'm getting my brother's wife, my sister-in-law involved, we can take on a little bit more orders.
So how does that work? I mean, you've got family members helping you with this now to cook and all that. Do you all do it from a centralized kitchen, or is it sort of everyone does something in their own kitchen and then you do the deliveries?
Okay, it depends on the size of the order. Like today's order was quite phenomenal. So I had to go back to my mom's place to cook, because we don't have in my house, there's not enough space to put the slow cookers and the frying and stuff. My mom's got a bigger house, and so we moved back there to cook. So it really depends on the orders.
On the orders, lah. Okay, and so kind of can you give our audience an example of some of the menus? I know that my friend Regina has sort of been waxing lyrical about your yam cake,
The yam cake, yeah, the yam cake is a lot of work, but yeah, it's a lot of work. But yeah, that's a hot seller right now. The other one would be the Taiwanese braised pork, of course. That one usually sells out within a day or two. Then we have pork rib curries. We do, and now recently, because my wife was in confinement, so I learned how to do some confinement food. So now we're serving stuff like the chicken rice wine, vinegar pork trotter. We also have my sister-in-law is Thai.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
Yeah, so she does some Thai dishes like today's khao kamu. Khao kamu is basically Thai pork trotter. They kind of very, 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 very authentic kind of Thai meal. And then we do salad rolls, dessert, tong sui, and what else? What else do we do? Yeah, actually the menu is not that big yet. We're still exploring some food. Yeah.
So how have you been doing your sort of marketing and building up this network? I mean, from a business like that grew from nothing and now you're doing like 80 meals a day. That's quite awesome. And how does your marketing happen?
But to start off, I guess the most important thing is friends and family. Really, when we first started off, really, my friends were supporting me by buying meals for their staff, buying meals for their friends, and from there, we kind of penetrated going into office buildings. So we start talking to office buildings, and of course, all the other stuff, the Facebook, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, and then interviews like this.
So yeah, you came out on the papers, right?
Yeah. So actually, a lot of things. I guess it's whether you want to do it. You want to make yourself known out there. Whether you try hard enough to actually get the news out there that you are selling this thing. You can't just have a good product and sit down and just wait for somebody to come and get it from you. You have to go and start talking about it. So I guess on our side we're pretty blessed that we have a lot of friend support, a lot of family support. Who's been telling people about our food, like Regina.
Regina, I think you should get her as a site marketing agent. That one, I tell you, she does my marketing, the human equation, and she's amazing, Regina. Yeah. So it's about networking, and that in itself is very interesting because a lot of people, they want to start something new and then they're like, no, I don't want to go and tell my friends, and they'll feel like forced to buy and all that. But I think it's about tapping into the network that you already have, isn't it? Right?
And also being relentless and shameless, actually, at some point.
Not shy.
Because some people, you haven't hit rock bottom yet, so you don't know how desperate you are. But once you're desperate, say, look, guys, I need you guys to buy some meals from me, that kind of thing. And people see that, hey, this guy's in shit, man. He really needs help. But some people, they can't bring themselves to do that at the moment. I mean,
it's about pride, lah. They
it's
have
about
that
pride.
pride.
Maybe they haven't hit that level yet.
So what has this experience of like actually hitting rock bottom done for you as a person, aside from the business aspect of it?
I guess it teaches you that you just gotta fight. You just have to take on the fight to know how strong you are. And when you know how strong you are, you can go a bit far. You can go far. You know what I mean? I feel that what's the saying? When you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up.
The only way to go is up. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I that's really true. This really makes me stand out, come out from a comfort zone. I'm the kind of guy who will not even go into a market, like a proper
wet market.
I will never do it. But now I get up in the morning. I'm at these places picking up my food, making friends with the pork guy and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's life changing for me. It's really life changing. My wife was surprised because she knows I never go to this kind of places. I never do this web marketing because I don't know.
So would you kind of say, Bruce, that this whole thing has been in a way a sort of blessing in disguise? You get to work from home and
Yeah,
start a new business.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful because my wife just gave birth. We have a new baby. We have a new baby at home. I get to watch all my kids grow up. Yeah, but it's okay. But one thing, being a stay-at-home mom is no joke, man.
Now you know. Huh?
Not funny. Not funny at all, man. Sending kids to school, picking them up, cleaning, washing clothes. Wow. Really, really. After this, I'm humbled. I'm humbled by what stay-at-home moms do.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's a hardcore job. It's a hardcore job, man.
Full time, huh?
Full time. Especially now with a baby, it's even more crazy. Thank God
it makes you appreciate her more.
Very much. But thank God for MCO. My kids don't have to go to school, so I don't get up in the morning and send them.
But they're there. I tell you what, use them, turn them into little kitchen helpers, but don't tell anybody.
But they do that. I mean, my eldest son, my 9-year-old son, he is the head of logistics. Yeah, he does he sets all the riders to come pick up the food. He does the Excel sheet key-ins for addresses and stuff. Yeah, and then my youngest son, my 7-year-old son, is the sticker master. He puts all the little stickers onto all the bags that we send out.
That's so amazing. I mean, you're creating little entrepreneurs here, man.
But I give them like a.
You pay them, lah.
I pay them because I want them to learn the concept that if you work, you will get paid. If you don't, you get nothing. I mean, because it's too easy to buy something for the kids nowadays. And then part of me like, what if I want them to learn how to make some money? Then they can appreciate the money that they earn, and I don't mind them spending it on whatever. So every month they will take their money and then go to like Lego and buy some Lego stuff. That's okay. I mean, it's your money,
Yeah.
Hard-earned money.
True.
Yeah.
So okay, you didn't used to go to wet markets before. You didn't really cook that much regularly. I mean, other than your specialty dishes and all that. And then you started a business where you spend a fair amount of your time in the kitchen, right?
Yep.
Have you had any kitchen catastrophes? Like the worst day, of this entire experience? How did you pull through, man?
100%. You know what's the scariest thing? Cooking rice. Can you imagine you have to cook 64 bowls of rice? How much water do you have to put in? You know what I mean? So when you put 64 bowls of rice makes 32 cups of water, 32 cups of rice. You cook it into that. Can you imagine that half an hour when it's cooking, you're just praying that, okay, better don't have too much water, don't have too little water, just make sure it's right. So that's the scariest part for me every morning.
You mean you cook the rice like that in a big pot? You don't use rice cooker?
Yeah. I bought a huge rice cooker, like this size.
So hope that the rice turns out well.
Yeah, just hope. Because if that don't turn out right, you gotta throw everything away. And for Chinese people, throwing rice away is
very sway.
It's very sway.
Asian mindset cannot throw rice away.
You cannot throw rice away. So yeah. So
go to the park and give it to the birds. That's the very worst you can do. Next, if ever No, we don't wish that. Okay. Yeah. So, so are there any, you made it clear that you have no plans to go into a shop lot or go into an industrial site to do bigger meals and all that. But any plans, you've expanded your menu from 2 items to more now. Yeah. Any plans to expand more, to do maybe catering for functions or also, since you're now been the confinement lady cooking confinement food, maybe catering for confinement, people want confinement food. Any of those plans in the pipeline?
Yes, actually, confinement food is definitely one of them. Yeah, that is a market that
That's a big market.
That's a big market that I'm going to, and also I really enjoy this whole confinement thing. You know, there's learning about how confinement herbs, that kind of thing. It really interests me. That's one, and then also we are looking to maybe moving into a bigger place where my brother and my sister-in-law can move in together. So we are bigger in one house, one in a bigger house.
All
I guess
together.
all together. So I guess that's the way to expand this. We need space. Basically, I need space.
You need space.
I need space to prep my stuff to take in more, because now I mean we had to cap the orders because there's only so much the kitchen can generate. And because I used to own a few F&Bs, I know this is my max capacity really. To actually grow more, we need space. We need more cookers. We need more space to prep. Basically, actually, cooking is easy. It's the prepping that kills you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, if I have a space to do the prepping, I think I can churn out more meals.
More meals.
Yeah. So that sounds very interesting. Now that I'm stay at home more, I see all these things, how to run this business actually. Yeah.
So the strength of your brand now is in the fact that it is home cooked.
Correct. Home cooked, 100%.
So you don't want to move too far away from that. So if you can't cook so much in the home you have now, then move to a bigger home so that you can still have home cook in a bigger house.
Home cooked.
So you've got to increase your repertoire of dishes on your own with your wife's contribution, your grandmother's contribution, and sister-in-law and all that. Is there any particular dish you haven't tried yet that, maybe like a bit intimidating, but you would really want to go and try and make it available to your customers?
Yes.
Tell
okay.
us.
Okay, because I was part owner of Ali Mutu and Ahok. I don't know if you heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. They have one in Publica near my house.
Yeah. I started off with, I was part owner of that group, and all my friends, they know my love for nasi lemak. And Ali Mutu Ahok is famous for nasi lemak. If I ever, that will be one dish that I would really love to cook, but I'm afraid to cook because it's just too much benchmarking. If I were to come up with that, everybody say, okay, Bruce is coming up with a nasi lemak, it's got to be damn good, that kind of thing. So that's the one thing that I would want to do, but I haven't had how do you say, the balls to do it yet.
Ouch, bleep. You know what, Bruce? Just go for it. Huh? You had the gumption to go and start a business knowing how to cook two things. And look where it's taken you. I have a suggestion, my 2 bits worth. I'm a big fan of nasi lemak. When I started my business about 14 years ago, it was not a very great market. And people said to me, oh, you're going to start a training company, learning and development, not a very good market. First thing people do is slash their training and development budgets. How are you going to get business and all that? I say, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Worst comes to worst, if I don't get enough business and training development, I'll sell nasi lemak. I make a pretty okay nasi lemak. What I suggest to you is go and eat like 10 of the best nasi lemaks in the city. And then from there, you go experiment and see whether your nasi lemak can measure up or beat the best one. If you need any tasters,
I'll call you.
You call me because a few things I'm very particular about, nasi lemak, asam laksa, curry laksa, that kind of thing. Either you get it or
dishes,
don't. You get or you don't get. Don't play.
These are the Malaysian dishes are the most. You don't play with it. Once you mess around with it, people will benchmark it. you against it,
Yeah.
and then you will get hammered lah if it's not good lah.
You do market research first, then you
Yeah.
try, then you get a few discerning taste buds to come in and try the nasi lemak. Then pass, then you put on the menu already lah.
Where's the best nasi lemak for you?
MCO, I forgot already, but I don't know lah, because I like to make my own nasi lemak. There used to be one in Sri Hartamas. They had the Gerai in Sri Hartamas, Taman Sri
Yes.
Hartamas. That's I think with the nasi kukus, that was quite awesome. But I haven't been in a while. Haven't been there in a while. So, but you know what? Most different people have got different style.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's about experimenting. Like, come, I tell you what, one day we come cook together in the kitchen, and then you taste your sambal, and I cook my sambal, and then we'll see lah. We can talk later. So now that you're kind of full steam on with Wongka, more family members and all that are coming, you're enjoying the experience. Here's a question. Tough one, this one. If the opportunity for full-time employment should arise, which can sort of give you that income that you're perfectly happy and comfortable with, would you take it or would you continue with Wongka?
I will continue with Wongka.
Amazing. I like
100%.
that. What's the reason?
I made the decision when because number one is gratitude towards Wongka. I can't just drop it like that. It's like a baby that's given up, and my wife is very happy. That's key. She's happy that with this whole Wongka thing, everybody's involved, and the kids are happy that I'm home all the time. Because my stint in Bangkok, I was there alone. My kids were back here in Malaysia, so I was traveling back and forth, and that was really, really, very tough. And when I started this Wongka, I can see my wife. She worked really hard, and then she's really happy. That's the most important thing for me. My happy wife. You know what I mean? So yeah, I won't trade this for the world.
I like what I'm hearing today, Bruce. There's so many takeaways that I personally can take, and I think people listening out there, of how to not just sit down and complain and get yourself into a stuck state, but to just look at what you can do, because you need to do it. And for you, it was like not just depending on yourself, but your entire family depending on you. And you started small. You took feedback from a few people. You started small. You tapped into the network that you have. I see one little one at the back there. Hello.
That's my logistic
logistics
director.
director. Yeah. And then how you sort of tapped into the network you have without being embarrassed or with no pride, to just go out there, because to be confident of your product. And therefore you can very safely go and tell your friends come and take product. And also the fact that you've pivoted, and sometimes pivoted because of needs, but then it becomes a whole new way of life for you, with a new philosophy, and it's sort of put your whole family together. You're integrated now as a family working on this, and I think that's just been such an amazing example for the rest of us. Just one final question.
Yep.
What advice do you have to offer those in danger of losing their jobs, or who've already lost their jobs, been retrenched, and are filled with despair?
Don't be afraid. Just do whatever it is. You must do something. Don't sit back and wait. Nothing's gonna happen if you wait. You just gotta go for it. If there is a chance, just take it. Just take every single chance that you have, and just fight. You have to be relentless in this environment. That's all.
And I'm seeing that you didn't just take a chance, you created your own chance. And I think that's been amazing. It's okay.
These guys.
That's one of your partners, okay? So
that's my partners, my directors.
Your directors, yeah. Eventually, 20 years from now, they are actually going to be directors of Wongka, the brand. Thank you so much, Bruce, for agreeing to be with us this Friday afternoon. You've been listening to Bruce Wong from Wongka. Very interesting story. He's been speaking to me, Sheila Singham, on the Sheila Exchange. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sheila.